Namo Amitabha Buddha. Hello everyone. So on our Thursday extended session, we discussed the topic of what to do with our distracting thoughts when we practice Nianfo. And for those who missed the discussion session, you can still access the video online. We have recorded a video on Zoom, and I'll put the link in the description box. Or you can also access the link on our Facebook page, Facebook group, Lotus Family One. For now on, for all our extended sessions, we will always record them on Thursday morning and Sunday afternoon for those who can't attend but also like to join the session, so you can watch the replay afterwards. So I thought I will also make a video about this because this may be highly relevant for a lot of Nianfo practitioners. So it's really totally common and normal that we have distracting thoughts when we practice Nianfo. If we don't have any distracting thoughts, then it might mean that we have obtained some sort of level of Nianfo Samadhi. But because we are not there yet, we are at the beginning of our path, and it is totally common, totally normal, and totally fine to have distracting thoughts when we practice Nianfo. Sometimes we may be like Amitabha, 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 or what we should eat for lunch later, and then Amitabha, 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 or what I should do after Nianfo. So all these kind of thoughts, they will come and go. So what should we do to deal with them? My advice is that we really don't need to do anything to deal with them. It's like we just completely ignore them instead of really beating ourselves up and blame ourselves or engage in self-guilt about why have I not obtained wholeheartedness in Nianfo, single-mindedness on Nianfo. If we beat ourselves up, if we have this kind of thoughts, or including, why am I not in meditative state, like all these kind of thoughts, again, we are away from being focused on Nianfo. So I would say just completely ignore all those distracting thoughts and know that they will always come. But if we don't give energy to them, if we don't give attention to them, they will just come and leave. It's when we give energy to them, we give attention to them, and we engage with them, that is when they really become distracting thoughts. Whereas if we just treat them like the clouds on the sky, they come and go, we just completely ignore and we still focus ourselves on Nianfo. Also, we shouldn't think that we need to try very hard. We should think about Amitabha Buddha is really like our compassionate father or compassionate mother. We really rely on the power of Amitabha Buddha to help deliver us to the Pure Land and also to be one-heartedness in our Nianfo practice. So it's really the other power. We shouldn't think that we need to try very hard to focus on Amitofo. So what we do is when all these distracting thoughts come, we simply just ignore them. A metaphor I like to use is like, for instance, you're focusing on a really important task on your plate and there are a bunch of kids just playing around you. But because the task on your plate is so important that you really don't bother giving any energy, attention to those kids. So it's a bit like that. We just completely ignore our thoughts instead of giving attention to them. So this may take a bit of practice. At the beginning, we may find ourselves drifting away with those thoughts or engaging with them, and which might create more thoughts. And as we keep practicing Nianfo and keep just ignoring those thoughts, we will become more and more skillful at ignoring distracting thoughts. They will come and go. If we just ignore them, then they know we're not interested in entertaining them, then they will just leave us alone. And if they come back later, that's also totally fine. Just know that they're just here to play and we don't need to give our attention to them. Some people say, we can acknowledge them, they're here, but we can keep practicing Nianfo. So this is fine too, but I would say you don't even need to acknowledge them. Like, this need of acknowledging is also not necessary. We can just totally skip this step and just, again, to focus ourselves on Nianfo and just completely ignoring those distracting thoughts. So just don't get bothered by them. because all these kind of thoughts are just illusions, which are temporary and transient in nature. So we really don't need to be attached to illusions. But this will take a bit of practice. The more we practice Nianfo, and we should really practice Nianfo in a relaxed state of mind. It's not like we need to try so hard. It's like when we think about a compassionate father or compassionate mother, or even your loved one, it just becomes so natural. It's not like we need to think that we have to force ourselves to be focused on Amitofo. It will become really natural. And maybe occasionally distractions might come, but that is totally fine too. We just don't care. We just completely ignore and just keep carrying on with our recitation. And slowly, we will find ourselves become more and more focused on Amitabha without even trying so hard. It will become effortless effort as the time goes by, and when our practice deepens, we will become more and more skillful at ignoring those distracting thoughts. So really in our everyday life, we don't need to give so much attention or energy to all those distracting thoughts, no matter what we are doing. So all these mental constructs are just illusions in nature, and we really don't need to be attached to them. And this includes our dreams. Sometimes when we wake up from the dream, we may like to become attached to what we had just dreamed, or we become overanalyzed in whatever that might happen in the dream. So whatever happened in the dream, just stay in the dream realm. And even in this cycle of reincarnation, the whole of the cycle of reincarnation is still a dream. All its illusions here. So we really don't need to be attached to illusions. Just treat everything as it is, without judgment, without attachment, without separation. So I hope this video helps, and if you want to see more detailed discussions, you can also watch the video that we recorded on our Thursday morning extended session. Namo Amitabha Buddha. Namo Amituofo. Namo Amituofo.